Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Babbling Irons match preview. Myself and Sloth today. Huge game, Sloth. This second leg, 1-0 down to Freiburg. Round of 16 of the Europa League, a chance to go through to the quarter-final. Annoying kickoff time at 5:45 p.m. But, it's an equally important match. And how are you feeling, nerves-wise, after the first leg as an initial thought?
I'm not really nervous because I think even in the first leg we had chances. It's just the finishing was terrible. Like the big chances that fell to Paquetá and fell to Bowen. You just kind of go. I mean, we're not going to get started on the penalty call. I think that there's if that push from Souček, if you can call it that, from Souček is enough to make you go down like you're in platoon. I think it's embarrassing. But that said, those are the decisions and you have to come back from that. So I'm pretty confident. As I said in the first video, I don't think they're a great side. I think with the quality that we do have, particularly if we're playing an attacking style of football, we'll win. And it's just whether we do that. And I think we should. If there aren't serious changes from the side that started against Burnley, then I think we'll be in a tough spot. But it's just it's what West Ham turns up, and if the right West Ham turns up, I think we win comfortably. If it doesn't, I think we probably struggle, maybe just scrape through.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if we just take a look at the reverse fixture, obviously where we lost 1-0, as you mentioned, few really huge chances that if we take, we're comfortably through in this game already. So it's frustrating that we had that one lack of concentration as well for their goal. But here's how we lined up. Obviously, Emerson's likely to be injured, so it's going to be Cresswell or Johnson at left back, which we'll get onto in a second. As you mentioned there, the centre back pairing will probably be this, with Zuma rested against Burnley at the weekend. Kufau is Kufau. And then you've got, Alvarez, Souček, Ward-Prowse. I don't think Phillips will be anywhere near this 11 after his performance against Burnley. And then the front three, again, kind of picks itself. Maybe doesn't after the impact of a couple of substitutions against Burnley. But in terms of how we approach this, I know you touched on it there about being a little bit more attacking. So we obviously went to Freiburg a little bit cautious. I think defensively, we were pretty sound throughout. Freiburg didn't create much other than that one lapse of concentration from Zuma and Cresswell. I thought we kind of nullified them well. As you mentioned, I don't think they're an amazing side. They like to try and play out from the back, which we saw, but it's very much backwards and sideways. And I think we limited them very well throughout large periods of the match. And it's just now, how ambitious are we going to be? How does David Moyes approach this one? Because we're a goal down. We've been in this situation before, a couple of years ago when we were 1-0 down to Sevilla in the first leg. So this isn't unfamiliar territory to David Moyes and West Ham. How would you approach this? Because, we saw the first half against Burnley, terrible, really passive. I think the players will approach this one slightly differently, but how attacking do you want to see us go from the start? Because there is that potential of conceding a goal, and obviously then you're really up against it if you're 2 goals down.
I mean, the lucky thing for us is that they've scrapped the away goal rule, which, I think is just, personally as a football fan, I think it's a terrible thing. But, it means that if they do manage to get a goal, the heads don't drop as much as they would do if it was an away goal. So, look, how I would like us to set up is pretty attacking. And I would like Antonio on one of the wings, Kudus wide as well, and Bowen up top. I would put Paquetá in the middle, and I think Souček and Alvarez, they need to be the players who kind of sit deeper. Alvarez can break forward, and Souček can kind of shield the back four aerially or get involved, break up play that way, like he did against Burnley. And it's, for me, I don't even think Cresswell should be anywhere near the team. I know people are saying he had quite a decent game against Burnley. Personally, I just think it was Burnley, and if you're playing up against pace, he's going to get destroyed. He never inspires me with confidence, and I think as I've said many times, it should just be Johnson who is that backup left back, because what better way than to light a fire in someone and saying, look, you're basically playing for your future at the club. And if you want the wages you want, go out and perform.
Yeah.
So I would put him left back, help to deal with that pace that they have on that right-hand side, and, give Antonio or Kudus, whoever's on that left-hand side, a bit of support. And I think that is the best way to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think Johnson has to play, not even just from a defensive perspective, but offensively as well. With Emerson out, we obviously lose that kind of overlapping impetus that Emerson brings. And I think Johnson, as well, with his ball carrying, is a lot more effective than Cresswell. So it just makes sense to play him in this. I will be disappointed, as you mentioned, if Cresswell does start, but we'll see what Moyes does. It's also interesting to note, obviously we played Freiburg in the group stages, and at home we beat them fairly comfortably at home 2-0. And they didn't really pose much in that game. And I remember in that game as well, I think we had like 57% possession, which is pretty high for us. So we controlled a lot of the game. So I think Freiburg are going to be happy to sit in this match. I don't think they're going to come to the London Stadium and try and retain the ball as much as they did at home. I don't think they're going to try and attack as much as they did, or try the style that they did. I think they're just going to look for those opportunities where we are attacking, to try and hit us on the break. Because look, we know that what the task is for us now. We know we have to score in this game, so that has to be in the players' minds when they go into this match, regardless of whether they get a goal or we score first. We do have it all to play for at the moment, and it should be more comfortable than it is. But I still believe we have enough quality to go through in this match. So how would you like to see the attack lineup? Because obviously we saw the impact of Danny Ings coming off the bench, scoring 2 goals, one was disallowed. We've kind of lacked that clinicalness in front of goal, which could be key in a match like this. Would you be tempted to play Danny Ings from the start, or is it more, come off the bench like you did against Burnley if we need to?
Definitely sub. It's nothing against Danny Ings, and he took his goals very well. I also thought, as I mentioned in the review, that his work rate was fantastic, but it doesn't warrant him starting for me. Not when you have players like Kudus and Bowen who can play up top. It's a total mismatch of players. He can do it for 20 minutes. He can do it for 15 minutes. But you can't put him on in a Europa League knockout round and expect him to be the man leading the line. It's just my opinion. And I'd love to be proven wrong. If he does start, I'd love him to score goals. And I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be supporting the side. But I just don't think it completely slows us down in terms of the attack. And to get an early goal, I think that the best option is as I mentioned, with the pace, Antonio, Kudus, Bowen, what they offer on the outlet, I think it should be them.
Yeah, I think it was also very circumstantial, isn't it? Danny Ings came on against a Burnley side that were defending, were kind of backed up, and we'd just gone for it. We threw on loads of attackers. So he's not really, we've seen it. He can't play as that lone striker very well unless he's got support around him, and he gets supplied into the box, which we haven't done enough for him when he has played striker as a sole striker. So wanted to touch on there as well, Antonio. Obviously, he's now back in the mix. Again, it's kind of more of a direct question because James Ward-Prowse hasn't been performing. And I think people are starting to get frustrated with his performances. Yeah, he's been shoehorned out to the left-hand side. I mean, against Burnley, I don't know why he's playing left wing. I don't know why Moyes persists with it because it just doesn't work. It's not his game at all. And, with Emerson out, Paqueta's not as impactful from that left-hand side. So how would you do it? Would you be looking to maybe start Antonio up front and have Kudus and Bowen either side and drop Paqueta into the middle, or would you stick with the front three of Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen and have Antonio on the bench and keep Ward-Prowse in? How would you like to see that front six line up?
I mean, I'd put him out on the wing just because I think he hasn't got the clinical finishing that Bowen has. He's not got the level of finishing that Bowen has, and if a big chance falls to any of the three in terms of Kudus, Bowen, or Antonio, I want it to be one of the other two.
And so you would start Antonio?
I would personally start him out on the wing, especially over James Ward-Prowse. I think that's such a weird sentence to say, isn't it? But it speaks volumes about the shoehorn approach at the moment. And I think when you've got a player like Paqueta in the side who can deliver a ball into the box from a dead ball situation, someone like Antonio's crossing is really underrated as well. And I think when you look at Kudus's delivery for the goal against Burnley, you know, his crossing into the box is very strong. So having those outlets on the wing is really important. I think Bowen, you know, as well, is going to be hassling the defenders, and he's going to be trying to get his head on the end of things. So I would personally go with Antonio out on the wing. I think James Ward-Prowse would be a major mistake in terms of if we started him there. But it's look, I'm not confident of the decision making in terms of the starting 11, just because we've seen Moyes do this time and time again. So it's I think we'll have enough regardless. But
we should do.
Yeah,
we should do.
It's just touch and go.
It's a bit iffy, isn't it? Obviously, as well with the crowd situation, which we'll get onto in a second. But you know, in that fixture where we did beat them 2-0 at home, the front six was, you know, Paqueta left, Kudus right, Bowen striker, and then the midfield was Alvarez, Souček, Ward-Prowse, and we're used to seeing that kind of front six a lot. And you know, we've had some very good success with that. You know, the defense has been the issue really in a lot of games. I think we've lost our clinical edge a little bit since the international since the turn of the year. Sorry. But we need to find that rhythm again. And I think Bowen as well, especially, needs to find that rhythm if he's going to continue to play striker. I'll be interested to see what Moyes does. I don't think he'll be starting Antonio in this game. I think it will be the same six that we beat them 2-0 with in the midfield and forward positions. I don't think he'll want to drop Ward-Prowse at all. I think that's kind of his guy. He doesn't really want to bring him out right now. And, you know, Phillips isn't going to be anywhere near that starting 11 right now. So, interesting. Before I get your score predictions, what do you make of the, I don't want to say lack of attendance, but it seems like there's going to be quite a few empty seats at the London Stadium on Thursday evening. So what do you make of that? Because it's a massive game. I know the circumstances are probably difficult for some people to get to the match. Is it just a case of that, or do you think there's maybe a little bit more to it, that people maybe expect us to win and will turn up for the quarterfinal?
No, I think the scheduling is an absolute disgrace, and it's something that you know, we're more than happy to sit back and take the TV money and the competition money. However, these TV companies are given way too much power, and the ability to dictate that a game is played at 5:45 p.m. when people are going to be traveling to that stadium, and they may well have to take annual leave, they may well have to take half days, whatever it might be. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and it speaks volumes about UEFA's priorities. Look, I'm having to take a day off, and look, I'm not complaining. It's an absolute privilege to be able to go to a UEFA knockout game. However, that's what they rely on, and the fact that it may well be a poor attendance should speak volumes to people within football, that you can't just keep disrespecting the fan just for this TV audience that may or may not tune in, may pick a glamour tie, may pick whatever it wants to watch at 5:45 p.m. It's scandalous, and it's something that needs to stop. You've seen UEFA today worried about their own selection for the final stadium, and you think, if anything should be ringing alarm bells, it's their woeful mismanagement of every single level of the competition, whether it's security, multiple finals in recent years, whether it's the like punishment handed out to teams such as AZ Alkmaar or Lazio. These situations keep repeating themselves, and there's only one person to blame, or sorry, one organization to blame, and it's UEFA, time and time again failing to do their own job properly.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it is ridiculous that they've even gone ahead with this. I mean, I've never seen this happen before. I think it did happen to Arsenal a few years ago when they were in the Europa League, and I just don't understand. Like it really is ridiculous that this is happening. I mean, it's what 2 hours 15 difference, and there's no way that they're going to prioritize fans over a TV schedule in their eyes because that's money to them, and
Yeah,
money will always come first.
the problem is that they have the product, and if they say, "Look, we don't care.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do.
We have the product, and the game will be played at, even if they said 7 o'clock, the game's going to be played at 7 o'clock, and then the later games, you know, you can put one of them on. But the UEFA actually needs to grow a backbone, and instead of just greedily taking the money, actually saying, no, look, fans are the priority for the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it grows. That's the only reason that the TV money has become as big as it is because the fans who go to the stadium are like the overwhelming demand for tickets surpasses everything.
Exactly. And that's always going to be the way, isn't it? It's always going to be the way. The demand will always be there, in terms of the fans wanting to go to these games. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game. It is a massive game for this football club, especially if we want to progress into Europe. Bit emotional. This might be our last Europa League preview for a while if we don't get back to Europe next season and we get knocked out. But hopefully not. Touch wood that we go through. And yeah, just want to get your final score prediction, Sloth, for this match because we're obviously 1-0 down in the leg, all to play for. What's your score prediction?
I go 3-1. I've learned from you, and I'm not gonna bank on a clean sheet. I don't know if they'll score first or what, but I can see us getting 3, and maybe they get one back 10 minutes before full time, and it's a bit of a squeaky bum moment kind of thing. But I can't see us keeping a clean sheet.
I'm going against everything I stand for and my instincts, and I'm predicting a clean sheet. Yeah, I really think it'll play out similar to how Sevilla did. I think we'll get the first goal in the first half. I think it'll be 1-0 at half time. And I think it'll be quite a cagey affair in the second half with both teams a little bit hesitant. But I just think we'll have that quality at home to get that second goal in the 90-minute period. I don't think it'll go to extra time this time. I think we'll get it done. And I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. So hopefully we do. Hopefully we progress. Because yeah, I mean, there's going to be some tough teams in the quarterfinal anyway. But we have to be in that hat to progress. So hopefully we do. Hopefully we get the result, and we'll be sat here on the review happy as Larry. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are new around here. And Sloth, until next time.
Come on, you Irons.